This is Phantom Doctrine. This is their investigations screen. I made a video called Rubik's Clues, which talked about Life is Strange's investigations screen, and you can watch it down below if you'd like, but the short version is I loved it. I thought it should be in a lot more games. This kind of looks like that. This is the core part of the game. Am I having fun? It's not fun, but it's not compelling, and Life is Strange was super compelling, so what's the difference? This is actually a really great opportunity. We can see this implementation that is almost what I asked for and see why I don't like it. And the big problem with it is that it doesn't tell a story at all. So this is all of the evidence I can gather for this case. And I have literally no idea what's in play. I have literally no idea what I'm doing here or who anyone else is or what they've done. Even if I read the messages, it's not informative. It's specifically vague on purpose. And I think their idea is that once you connect all the dots, they'll tell you everything that happened, but that's a lot less compelling than having it unfold in front of you as you make those connections. So Life is Strange had a number of techniques they used to help make connections, to help you understand the story as you were making those connections, to really keep you flowing well. One of those is that when you made connections in Life is Strange, the evidence would all get clumped up into one new piece of evidence. So here's an example. There's a villain and there's some police reports, and the police reports are by license plate, so you have to find the villain's license plate. Well, that's quite similar to this, right? There's a cartel and there's a burned library, and you have to figure out how they're connected. Well, this would be the license plate, this would be the villain, this would be the police reports, but in Life is Strange, when you discover the villain's license plate, it becomes a single piece of evidence that is the villain's license plate number. You know, this is the villain's license plate number. It literally says that. Rather than being villain, license plate number, line. It keeps it tight, it keeps it collected, and it tells you what you've done to get there, what the context is, and where it's going. This is undirected. I have no idea whether or not the Antiquia cartel is coming from this picture I can't see, or moving to this picture I can't see, or whether that's solved or unsolved, or what kind of thing works out there. It's just a blank. But if these two things combined into a single piece of evidence that said, the Antiquia cartel blew this bridge up, I would know immediately what was going on, and I would have solved it. I would have gotten that much closer to understanding the overall situation. Another thing that Life is Strange did that this game doesn't do is this game just gives you the important stuff and then tells you to connect all this important stuff, meaning that every single piece of evidence you have is supposed to be content dense. This is supposed to really matter. I can't look at it, but it's supposed to really matter. This, again, really matters. I can't look at it. This, I can't look at it, but it's supposed to really matter. Life is Strange takes the opposite approach. Nearly every piece of evidence you get is completely irrelevant. For example, when you're looking up the villain's license plate number, they give you a picture of like 4 or 5 different cars, and you have to figure out which one is the villain's. Now, obviously you're going to throw 3 of those away when you pick the one car that you determine is his, but even more than that, a picture of a car isn't fundamentally a critical piece of information. It's not a part of the story that matters very much. I'm not going to go, this is big, he had a car. Well, yeah, dipshit, of course he has a car. But the point is that I now know which car was his and what the license plate number is. And because of that, I can get rid of the whole stack of cars. Not only will I throw 3 of them away as completely irrelevant, but that last one turns into a new piece of evidence that has a lot more context to it and matters a lot more. Because of that, each individual piece of evidence in Life is Strange could be a lot simpler and less important. You were just looking up code words or just looking up cars and figuring out which one you needed, and then get combined into a new piece of evidence unfolding a little bit more of the story. So that meant that you didn't have to try and create compelling things for the player to try and, uncover. Every one of these has to matter. We have to make every single one of these cool. We have to make every single one of them important. No, you don't. You just have to make every single one of them go away once the player is done solving them. because then the important stuff remains behind. Obviously. There are some things I think they could have done to make this a lot more compelling without actually using any of Life is Strange's techniques, because there are things here that almost work, and it's pretty close to being interesting, and I'll tell you, this is a good example of that. What does this say? We don't know. But what if that was the point? What if the point wasn't to simply draw lines between A and B, but when we drew a line between this, I don't know, Antiquia cartel, when we finished connecting these dots, this says Jogger as containing Antiquia cartel weapon caches, which is almost certainly what it's supposed to be. We should just have this get taken away and Antiquia cartel show up instead. We should solve it. We should go in and just paste over the censored out bits with more information. We should make this piece of evidence matter more and tell more of the story. I think that's a great idea. It really fits in well with the kind of censored out evidence that you're getting, partial data, fragmented stories. Great. The whole point is to turn those fragmented stories into a story I can understand, because I'll tell you what, this doesn't help me. I don't know what it is. I can't figure out what it is. And I don't know for sure that this says Antiquia Cartel. That's what I assume it is because it's the right length. So that's the sort of thing I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see a lot more understanding as to what sort of story I'm telling, what sort of story I'm in, rather. I still don't know why this entire thing exists, and I'm sure I could get it if I read every single letter and decoded it myself, but this is the decoding. Don't make me do it twice. And that's it. Have a good one.